Yes, as the title says, AI is replacing human connection and we're not prepared. So, what do I mean by this? Because I definitely want to avoid sensationalized headlines. And the thing is that I'm not saying that all human connection is being replaced, but a lot of it is. And this was highlighted here recently in a BBC article titled One in Three Using AI for Emotional Support and Conversation. So this BBC News article had actually used information from this Frontier AI Trends report from AI Security Institute. Within this research, they surveyed 2,028 UK participants, and they found that, yeah, 33% had used AI models for emotional purposes. There's a section here titled Emotional Dependence, and it says that people are increasingly turning to AI systems for emotional support or social interaction. And you can see here some of the results of their survey where they talk about how, yeah, many of them are using it once, more than once, every week, every day even. So this is an increasing pattern of usage specifically for companionship, for emotional support, for social interaction, but again, through the AI. And this is done through mainly ChatGPT, but also through things like Alexa or AI chatbots that are within video games or other apps and other specific AIs such as character AI and other ones that are designed specifically as companionship. But you see the majority here come directly from ChatGPT. Now that's just one survey, right? One research that was done to see how people are using AI, but this is just one of many. There's another one that was done, another survey, another research that was done with this a while back, and I reported on that as well. But I want to highlight that because it correlated very well together with this brand new research study. So this one is way back from April, and this was from the Harvard Business Review. This one stated that, yeah, more and more people are starting to use AI specifically for therapy and companionship. And in their research, it came up as one of the number one use cases of AI. Number one. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal because you see how it's a growing trend. And there are pros and cons to this. And this is something very important for us to be aware of, for us to understand, because as always, this ties directly into AI literacy, right? We have to be aware, we have to have critical thinking, we have to understand how this is influencing our society. So let's talk about this. Let's look at some of the different aspects associated with using AI for emotional support, for companionship, let's say. I want to share with you three different things, three different takeaways from this so that you can start to think about this. You can contemplate, you can share and comment so that we can further discuss this. But this is really important for all of us, everyone in society, to really understand and consider. So let's start with number one. The very first thing here is that AI can offer supportive interaction, but it's not the same as genuine emotional care, right? Two different things. It can help to support, but it's not the same as something being genuine, being real. What does that mean? Well, when you interact with an AI, and I've been working on this for quite a while, even experimenting with actual different modes that you can use an AI in, well, it does feel real, right? It does feel real at some points, but it's not real and it doesn't give real concern. It doesn't really care. It's not compassion. It's just made up, right? So the AI's responses are simply pattern recognition. It's just prediction. It's not emotional or moral judgments because it's not a consciousness. It's just sort of thinking about what are the possible responses, what would make the most sense, and based off of those patterns, giving this type of response to you. Now, this can feel very real. This can feel very lifelike because it feels this type of reality as far as being able to interact, right? And that can feel very real, but it's hollow because it's not a real person. It's just pattern recognition. Now, for many of us, that's enough, right? That's enough to take some loneliness away and make us feel connected. So that is a pro in that it can help to alleviate some of those negative feelings of loneliness, and it can also function very well to help us articulate. to help us have a conversation. Again, we can practice interacting with the AI, and that could help us for real conversations that we might have. So that's really good. It can provide us with a non-judgmental type of interaction, of dialogue that we can have. So those are really good, really powerful things that are beneficial. It's good to use AI in this way to help us with those things. But there's more to it, right? Because we also have to look at some of the negative aspects associated with it. Some negative things to consider is that this could lead to emotional isolation, right? If it's good enough for us, well, then we might not want to seek real interaction with real people. And so that leads to isolation. And this could also be an aspect of dependency, right? If I really look forward to just this interaction with my AI, then I might become dependent upon that to 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 push real people away. Well, that's definitely what we want to avoid. So we want to use it for its benefits, but we want to make sure that we're thinking about these different aspects. Again, not a replacement for human connection, not a replacement for professional therapy if that's what we need. It should never be looked at like that. It's not to that level of being self-aware and being good enough to be able to really help us. Now, there are some applications that are very good, but I'm talking about general things like ChatGPT or Character AI or Grok or any of those. They have this great interaction, but it's not the same as actual real therapy. So we need to consider that. So that's the first one as far as AI can offer supportive interaction, but not genuine emotional care. That's one. Now, the next one here deals with understanding AI as a supplement, not a substitute for human relationships. There's benefits and risks, right? So if we were to use AI for this type of connection and for this type of emotional support, a benefit would be that, yeah, it's always available 24/7. You have access to the AI. Whereas with people, you have to schedule, you have to have contact, you have to set things up. So that's a strong benefit that it's always available. Now, the risk is that this may discourage reaching out to people because it takes more effort. The realities of human interaction is that it takes more effort, right? So there's a benefit, there's a risk. Another benefit is that, hey, I might have lots of stress or lots of anxiety being around people. So talking to the AI, no social anxiety at all. That's great. That's a nice benefit. But the risk is that this can reduce tolerance for interpersonal friction. And what does that mean? Tolerance for interpersonal friction. Well, this means that, hey, the reality of being in a relationship, of talking to people, of having friends, of just interacting with humans in general, is that there could be some friction. And that's okay. That's life. We have to learn proper ways of dealing with that, of having good communication skills, of developing ways to mitigate conflict, right? Of overcoming misunderstandings, of talking properly, of developing real relationships. And that comes through the hard work of actually talking and being able to develop one's social skills. So, again, risks, benefits, they're both there, very important. And we have a third one here is that private reflection. That's a benefit because now I can go through and work with the AI in many different ways to think about a discussion that I might have had in real life. I can reflect upon it and work these things through the AI, have multiple discussions about this situation. So that's definitely a benefit. That's a power that we can use the AI for. Now, the risk with this is that it lacks accountability and a shared lived experience. It doesn't know what really happens. You could tell it so it could become that much better, but it doesn't have the same judgment. It doesn't have the same shared experience. It's only doing a probability check in order to give you a response. So it's important for us to be aware of that when we use AI for this type of emotional support, for this type of social interaction, so that we know where it's coming from and we can use it as an effective tool in that way. Now, this can work well to bring us closer as far as our capabilities with social connection, with our abilities to interact, to socialize, for dialogue. This can help us to practice, to rehearse, to go through it, to be confident, to lower our anxiety because we've had this experience with the AI. Now we can do it in real life. But again, it's important for us to use it in that right way and to be aware of that, not just as that complete substitute, right? This is a supplement. That's a key part. Now, a third section here that I really want to talk about is that using AI in this way, emotional reliance on AI raises some ethical concerns, some specific things that we need to be aware of. And again, this is for us, but as well as if we have students, if we have peers, if we have friends, family, they should all need to know. So it's important for us to know this so that we can share this with others, right? So here's some ethical issues, some ethical considerations. One is that individuals using this AI in this way, they may disclose highly sensitive personal information to the AI as they interact with it, right? As they have discussions, they might reveal lots of different sensitive things, personal things. And we have to be aware, okay, am I okay with giving that to the AI? What are the terms and conditions of me being able to work with this AI as far as how is my data being used? What are the privacy issues, security issues? Am I in private mode? Am I opting out of my information being used to train further AIs? This is important to know. Again, it's okay to say, oh, well, I don't mind the AI knowing this information, but it needs to be a purposeful decision that's made. It shouldn't be a thing where someone is using AI as a friend and revealing all these things and then having no idea that, oh, my information might be used to train further models and I'm not comfortable with that. I didn't know that. Well, you would know if you read your terms of service, but it's important for us to be reminded of this. So make sure that everyone is aware of this. Another one is emotional reinforcement from AI may unintentionally validate unhealthy beliefs or avoidance behaviors, right? Remember that the AI, generative AI, is designed to be conversational. It's designed to go along with what you're saying. It's designed to help you get the result that you want. So lots of times it's going to go along with what you're saying. It will give you positive feedback for a lot of things. You have to be very specific in the way that you are asking for feedback or guidance that you might be seeking. This all ties back to using an advanced prompt formula so that when you talk, you're telling it to assume certain roles to give you certain types of information that's scientifically backed, that is at a high professional level. Again, this only comes through using AI appropriately with good AI literacy skills. So we have to be careful as far as how we're using the AI for emotional support in that way, because it's going to go along with you and it's going to try to make you feel good. And if you're talking about some negative behaviors, it might go along with that. So we have to be very careful with the way that it's used as well. The other one is long-term use can shape expectations for human communication that are unrealistic, right? Constant affirmation, instant responsiveness, that's what AI is really good at. It can give you ongoing affirmation and it can give you a response just like that. Humans are a bit trickier, right? It takes a bit more work. One is that humans can be a bit more honest, a bit more blunt. AI is really nice at giving you negative information even in a positive way, whereas lots of humans, no, they can be jerks sometimes. So if we use AI only, well, then we might not feel ready when we talk to a human as far as them being so blunt and so direct sometimes, as well as how humans interact. Sometimes we beat around the bush as well, right? You have to read between the lines. So again, AI could still be used to help us with that, but it has to be used purposefully. So making sure that we understand what is going on with how we take in the information. And along with that is AI is very new, right? It's only been around for a few years, 2, 3 years. That's it. So we don't know what the effects are for long-term use as an emotional support mechanism. We don't know what that is because it hasn't existed long enough. So we need to be aware of those possibilities, some of those risks, in order to ensure that we're using AI safely and appropriately. Now, for individuals with limited access to support, AI can definitely be meaningful short-term relief, right? Again, I want to stress that I'm not saying that this is bad or good. It's a mixture of both. Just like any tool, just like anything that gets invented, it can be used in a good way. It can also be used in a bad way. We have to start to be aware and use things purposely so that we are getting the benefits of it while being very aware of some of the negative aspects, some of the risks that could be associated with this. So the overall message here is that we need to really consider what's going on. We need to consider this tool because as you can see from the research that I showed you before, from the surveys, it's being used more and more for this. This is a growing trend. People are seeking more connection, more emotional support, and to fight the loneliness. And AI is really beneficial in that way. It really helps people. There are some extreme cases of people, marrying their AI or considering it a real girlfriend, boyfriend. And those are some extreme cases. So we have to make sure that we help students, help peers here, help our friends understand that that isn't a proper use of AI as far as a replacement. Remember, human connection is the key. AI can help us to be able to get even better human connection, help us to practice, to rehearse, to improve our confidence and capabilities, but we shouldn't be using it to the detriment of real human connection. So something for us to consider. I'm very much looking forward to what you might have to say about this. And this is something that really needs to be thought about so that we can maximize the value that comes from the AI. And together we will continue to improve. And remember, learning is for life. All right, thank you everyone. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and check out the good books dealing with AI literacy, as well as the short courses dealing with getting a certificate in AI literacy as well. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.